And so I have a big interest in Roma because he's one of our subscribers, and he's a wonderful player. And in fact, he sent me a couple of shirts from the Italian team and signed them on the back, which I thought was very nice. Very, very nice. Unusual. But anyway, that's not going to be good. And I'm unhappy to see those things happen, especially in the south of Italy, which never really developed in a big way, more farming than anything else. And it's like night and day between northern and southern Italy. And in fact, even the languages are somewhat different in different places. And there was great Greek influence there, 1,500 to about 2,500 years ago. And there are some towns near and inside the Adriatic near Bari, that still speak a combination of Greek and Italian. And how I know that is I knew someone who came from there. But anyway, they need that like they need a hole in the head. And I just hope it quiets down and goes back to sleep.
Amen to that. If the word that I got from several friends that are working in the scientific world at specific universities has advised that a tsunami would possibly hit the United States if the volcano of Canary Islands were to blow, and the wave would be as high as 500 feet.
Wow. Well, you don't escape them if they come, that's for sure.
And traveling
it's not
across
like surfing.
the last time this volcano erupted was in 1883, and if the full island were to erode, the catastrophic wave could be as high as 3,000 feet, coming across the Atlantic at 600 to 700 miles per hour.
Wow. Well, if you live in Miami, you better get out.
If you live anywhere on the East Coast, I suggest that you pack your bags and get out of Dodge. The last time that this volcano affected a tsunami on the United States of America was in 1755, when a large wave of tsunamis hit the Atlantic coastal ports, causing massive damage. That's reported from the University of California, Santa Cruz, who holds all the tsunami data, and with the largest hitting the United States, cresting at 330 feet from a volcano that erupted in northwest Africa in 1557. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that.
That's
terrific.
Pretty
good information you need to know to get the heck out of Dodge. You don't want to live on the Pacific coast, that's for sure.
No, Atlantic.
Or the Atlantic coast, for that matter. I have a Bobby. Oh, Bobby, you're great. You want to stay on point. Bobby from California comes forth and says, Mr. Chapman, the mortgage demand rates are falling left and right. People aren't buying houses. Obviously, out here, property values are now over half what they were just 5 years ago. The Bernanke has come forth and said that the nation must take action to stop and form a physical future. Do you agree with Mr. Bernanke?
No, I never agree with him. He's a buffoon for the Illuminati who control the government. I saw Mr. Greenspan sputtering and defending himself in Congress today. Absolutely disgusting. I mean, this whole problem is based upon the actions of the Federal Reserve, which is a private corporation. And that's who caused the problems along with the banks. And the problems have not gone away. They're still there. And there is not going to be any kind of a prolonged recovery. I mean, we had a little of a hiatus, but what did they spend? I don't know, $2.5–3 trillion? I mean, it's a pretty expensive proposition. They're going to do that again this year? I don't know. If they don't, they're going to have a deflationary depression. So we don't know which way they're going to go on it, but the whole world's in trouble financially. And, you know, what I'm afraid of, and I've talked about this over and over again, is another war. And this is what the Illuminists do when they want to distract people from the problems of economics and politics and finance and so on. And I hope they don't do it, but I think they will. Where? I don't know. You know, the place that seems most reasonable to have a war is, of course, Iran. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's not going to be nice.
Yeah. Lisa in Seattle comes forth and she asked the question, Mr. Chapman, measures of inflation for major companies around the world have come forth, and there's information that says that normal reporting by the newspapers are showing higher than normal inflation rates. Inflation is roaring back here in America, and the only people that see it are my fellow housewives who go to the store and buy groceries. Many of my friends argue that inflation can't accelerate in a sluggish economy. What do you think?
Of course it can. They just don't understand economics and the velocity of money and many other things. But that's understandable. They're not supposed to. They're not trained in that venue. We are going to, well, let me put it this way. Overall inflation, real inflation, at this moment is about 8%. And inflation on the goods that you have to buy every day is 10%. And that's going to get worse. It'll go up over 14% this year. At least that's my estimate in real terms. The government figures you can throw them out the window because they don't mean anything. And because they're all lies. And so we get oil and gasoline prices going up, and that's certainly not going to help gasoline, because we're entering the big driving season. I would think would wholesale gasoline today closed at $2.30. So I would think that if oil, which closed at $85.52, goes to $100, you're going to get $4 gasoline at the pump again. And that's going to kick it up along with petroleum products. And the third world, the second world, is using more petroleum products than ever, buoying demand. And so we're going to have a high inflation year. It's one of the reasons gold and silver are going up, plus the fact that we got 19 countries that are bankrupt or close to it. And it looks like there's going to be real sovereign debt problems, and that's why interest rates are moving up. We have 5.31 on 5.31% on the 10-year U.S. Treasury note, and that is the instrument which is used by banks, even though they'll tell you they don't, but they do. They base their mortgage rates on that. Excuse me. I have to rephrase that. The 5.31 is on the mortgage rate. The T-bill rate is 3.85. The T-bill rate could go to 5%, which is 1.15. So if you add 1.15, say to 5.30, you get 6.45. So you're going to get 6.25 to a half 30-year fixed-rate mortgages by the end of the year. And if you think real estate's bad now, just hold on.
I heard that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with Mr. Bob Chapman.